Hello, everyone.
Hi there. Welcome. I guess, Latasha, if you want to kind of introduce yourself, I'll introduce myself and then we can kind of get started talking.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Tasha Roberts. I am the coordinator for our bachelor's programs here in the Computer Science and Information Technology Department. I'm also an associate faculty member in our accounting department. And I have been here at ACC almost 20 years.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. You've been here a bit longer than me. I'm Celia Parker. I am a former student, but now working with the Office of College Relations and Marketing. So Latasha and I are here today to kind of talk a little bit about the bachelor's degree programs under cybersecurity and information technology. So Latasha, if you kind of want to maybe give us a brief overview of cybersecurity and information technology, and I guess we'll talk about each of the bachelor's programs individually. So we can start kind of briefly talking about what each one, which we have, and then we can go a little bit more in detail.
Okay. So yes, so we have a bachelor's, we have two bachelor's degrees. We have one in our cybersecurity program, and then we also have one for software development. I can honestly say they do attack two different industries, so the student populace in each are different. I typically see students in the cybersecurity that are second career change. They're a little bit demographic is a little older. Um, but then I also see in the software development, I see all those students are typically the ones that really love, they love coding, they love computer science, just a difference between those two. But we have two really good programs for students. The students like both of the options. There's also internships and apprenticeships with those as well.
Okay, cool, cool. Let's talk a little bit more about each of them. So let's start with cybersecurity. Let's talk about that bachelor's degree. Kind of walk us through what that bachelor's degree looks like. I know you mentioned you have different students and different interests under each degree program. So please share with us more about cybersecurity.
Yes. So the cybersecurity bachelor's program, it has a foundation that's coming from the network administration. So that I like, it gives the students a second option just in case if they don't find cybersecurity jobs, they now have a foundation in network administration that supports it. And so in that AAS, they start in the AAS. So we have to talk about the AAS to get to the BAS. Um, we It's a rarity that I see students that go directly into that, even if they are transferring courses in, they have to go through that AAS because that AAS is giving them the courses that they need for that bachelor's program. There are requirements for each for both. They have to be at least a junior level status. That's 60 credit hours. They need to have a 3.0 GPA. And then also for each bachelor's, they need to have either the cybersecurity, they need the four ITSY courses, and then the software development, they need 12 hours of progressive programming.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. And just to be clear, just so we're on the same page, by AAS, you do mean the Associate of Applied Science, correct?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Excellent. I think we have a good understanding of cybersecurity. So talk to us a little bit about software development. I know they can be similar, but they're two separate things. So tell us a little bit about that one as well.
Yes, the software development, it's so broad in the scope that there are students that if they want to do full stack developer, if they want to do front end, back end, but the software development, it captures everything for those students. And it gives them a little taste of each. So that way in industry, they're going to be able to pick and decide, but at least they have foundational knowledge of those different job positions.
Got it. Perfect. Sounds like you're getting students prepared for what's coming next. So I'm sure students really enjoy that. So tell us a little bit more about how we can get more information. Are there sessions that you guys have? How can students or prospective students kind of connect and go a little bit further if they truly are interested in looking to go ahead and get started?
Yes. So, what I first want to let the students know that we're here to help them. And the first point of contact is their advisor. Their advisor can help them, guide them. And then I work very heavily with our area study advisors. So that way, if there's a question, they can always reach out. But that's where we would like to see the students start there. They can also visit our website and look at the information and look at the degree plan, and then work with their advisor to make sure that they are covering the classes that they need to get into that bachelor's program. And then they can also reach out to me as well. But I still would kind of do the same thing and redirect them back to their advisor, because I want us to all work together.
Perfect. And after their advisor, are there specific information sessions that they can come to? And if so, can you walk us through maybe what the schedule for that is? Like, do we have some coming up soon, or when can we look forward to that?
Yes, we do. So the next info session is going to be October 4th. We are going to have at 2 p.m., we're going to do the cybersecurity. And then at 6 p.m., we're going to do the software development. And I'm leaving open some more dates just in case if we get more students that are ready to really get into the bachelor's program. If not, that's going to be the last one that we're going to have a virtual info session. And what we cover in those info sessions, we cover about the requirements. We look at also what it takes to get into those programs, the level of rigor, the expectation that you would need, especially if you're on the software development. There are certain computer programming languages we would want you to know. That way you will be successful in that bachelor's program. And then we cover issues with classes. Which class should I take? And that help whittles down what you really need to get into that software development and or the cybersecurity. So we really focus on what the students need and how we can get the students to that. One of my goals is to help the students to streamline, to have them take the accountability for their program. I want them to see, do they know where they stand? Do they know how many credits they have? Do they see how their credits are being applied? And to make sure that they can see. So on our website, we have a check form, an interest check form, which they can kind of guide themselves and see, do I even meet the qualifications to request the application process? So there is an application process. So students do have to meet those requirements, attend an info session, and then once they do that, I will send them the information to make sure that they would be able to apply. And then we meet with a committee. And the committee consists of 3 to 5 faculty members that look over that application. They look over any the degree audits that I provide the committee, and then they make a final decision on if the student gets in or not.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for outlining that for us. And can you, if you don't mind, can you share with us what the website address is, just in case there's anyone who wants to go ahead and kind of view the website, see what those boxes and things are, then we can, share that with them.
Yes. So if you were to go to, I'm gonna go back on here, the acc.edu/cybersecurity. And then for the software development, it would be the same thing. It'd be software development on the back end.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we'll make sure we reiterate before we end today. So I kind of want to pivot a little bit and maybe address a couple questions and see, if we can't help facilitate more information being out there. I'm sure we have several people interested. So one of my questions, and I know you kind of walked us through a very good explanation of there's a process for application, there's info sessions, there's a connection point with the advisors. You talked to us a little bit about the committee and kind of what that piece looks like. So I guess my question for you moving forward next, after we have someone who has kind of done all of those steps and is really ready to get started in the program, what advice or guidance do you have for that very first touch point? Since it's a lot of information and it sounds like there's several steps that we need to do to really prepare for either one of these bachelor's degree programs. So what advice or guidance do you have for getting through the application process, really staying the course through each of those steps for anyone who might be interested?
Yes. I'm going to say that connection, that communication with their advisor is paramount to them being able to go from one side to the next. And so once their general advisor sends them to me, then I meet with the students or I'll send them information. If there's any deficiencies that I see, I will let the student be aware, like, hey, this is what the committee may say. I'm just giving you an idea and concept. Just be ready, be prepared. I give them the expectation of the bachelor's program. When you do your AAS, that's your freshman and sophomore classes. So there may be a little bit more hands-on, but when you now switch to this bachelor's program, I'm expecting this bachelor's program to have the same rigor and for the student to be at that same level, no different than a bachelor's program at a four-year institution. And once we have that conversation, we look over the classes and then we get them, once the committee says yes, I send them a letter that says, congratulations, you're in the program, sign your agreement form. Then after that, we pick classes and then they keep moving forward. I love for students to keep in contact once they get into the bachelor's program or even before. Keep in contact, let me know where you're at. If things that come up and we need to stop and discuss it and see where it may lead us, maybe we have to talk about if things are a little bit tough right now for this current semester. Should you take a break? Should we not? Should we lessen the amount of classes? Because the end goal is you being successful, and that's what we want to make sure, that you are taking the classes and you're being successful, because at the end of the day, this is all about procuring a job at the end. And we want to make sure that you are ready for that.
Right. Got it. Perfect. Thank you for kind of elaborating on that for us. We do have a question from our audience. So one of the question that's listed here, what are the basic requirements? So I think we're asking a little bit more about what those requirements are, as you mentioned on the website, that like what can the students look forward to and expect when they're looking on the website, if you can outline those for us.
Yes. So for the bachelor's program, the first 4 semesters is our associate degree. So for software development, it's the computer programming. So if you were in the computer programming, you're completing all those courses, then you've completed that first 4 semesters of that bachelor's. So we want to make sure within that AAS that you have the GPA, you have the credits, you're taking the classes that your advisor or myself are sending you and encouraging you to take. And then once you get on the other side, then you just make sure you follow the same degree plan and just make sure that you're staying with the course. So those requirements are the same, 60 hours, 3.0, and then depending on if it's software development, it's 12 progressive programming hours. If it's software development, 12 progressive programming hours. Cybersecurity is 12, the 4 ITSY courses.
Okay. And just so we all understand, ITSY, can you explain that and break that down for us?
That is the cybersecurity courses. That is the shortened version of the cyber. So that way we separate them from the programming that they always start with COSC, and then cybersecurity starts with ITSY.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So I think we kind of went through all of our questions here. And I really want to appreciate you for taking the time to answer those questions, explain to us what we can look forward to with both of these degree programs. I'd like to turn it over to you if you have any last remarks or any last guidance and advice that you'd like to say to our audience today.
Yes, I would like to say that work closely with your advisor. That advisor is going to help. If they don't, they always reach out to me and we always chat and talk about things that are needed for each student. And I would like to say that the software development, because so many classes can be accepted from other degree plans, so we typically have a lot more students that have way more classes. But if you want to do software development, you want to make sure that you are a strong programmer. That's the thing that you would want to do. We also have a data science, a database, associate degree plans, but those are the same way that those classes can be included in the software development, but data science or degree is not going to make you a strong programmer. And so we want to make sure that you're on that right path. And that's what and keep working hard. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. We here at ACC are doing what we're supposed to on the other end, is we're trying to make sure that we're providing you with the end result is jobs, internships, apprenticeships, and other resources. So that may be working in getting to know your computer science club, getting to know your cybersecurity club, participating. This is the biggest thing that I champion when I speak to students, is participating in other other things. So we have hackathons. That is a great way for you to get experience, to be in a pressure cooker environment and to see, can I produce, can I work at this high level? That is great for software development students. It is good experience for cybersecurity students. So those are the things that I want students to see, that your education, where you want to take this, is not only hear what you learn here at ACC, but it's everything else that's a part of that. It's all the other things that you're going to involve yourself in to get to know and understand. That's what makes you that quality potential employee.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Latasha, again for joining us today. Thank you, everybody out there who's watching us online, to learn a little bit more about the 2 bachelor's degrees that we do offer under the Computer Science and Information Technology umbrella. Until next time, we'll see you.
Yes.